Tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here to do. I'm here to join me as always, Xavier Guerrero, and on the ones and two, Jay Nice, Juicy Johnny Woodard. It's the J Dog.
What's up, baby?
Live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. That's right, guys. Join the Wolf Pack. Go to SamTripoli.com. .gold. Go to SamTripoli.gold. Use the promo code Tinfoil and join the Wolf Pack. As little as $50 a month, you can get precious metals sent to you and to hedge against inflation because it's a coming. It's a coming. Okay. So we very much thank them for sponsoring the show and the studio. And if you want to see me live, I'm going to be at the La Jolla. I'm going to be at the Comedy Store hopefully tonight. Hopefully it's sold out by the time you hear it. But if it's not sold out, grab your tickets now. Go to SamTripoli.com or thecomedystore.com. One of the greatest lineups I've ever put together. Ever. It's nothing but bangers, okay? It's already at low ticket warning. And then I'm going to be at the La Jolla Comedy Store with my good friend Brian Moses. Yes. Just go to SamTripoli.com. So much amazing things on that website. Plus, my content, my premium content will be there at SamTripoli.com for only $8. No more. I'm on other people's platforms, but I'm tired of worrying about it. Just go to SamTripoli.com. Grab the links right there. Join the secret dojo of premium content. All right, guys. I'm very excited to have this next guest on. I would like to say I discovered her out of nowhere. She had a crazy ass post about JonBenet Ramsey. And I said, come on the show. And now she's just crushing it. Please welcome back to Tinfoil Hat, back to the homeland, the one and only, a very highly requested guest, the Human Vibration. How are you?
Hey, Sam. I'm doing so good. And it's been 4 years. So much has happened since April 2020 when I first came on as a guest. At that time, I had never even spoken about this stuff. I'd just been kind of tweeting about it for a couple of months. It was all very new to me, these ideas. And you saw a thread on JonBenet, my theories about her. And we won't spend too much time on that one, but you saw it as an interesting way of seeing the world. It was weird, it was different, and you plucked me out of obscurity and said, hey, come on the show. And at that time, I remember you asking, you said, do you have anybody in your life that you can talk to about this stuff? And at that time, you were the first person I'd ever talked to about it out loud other than sharing on Twitter. And I'm very, very, very happy to say that 4 years later, I have lots of people to talk to this about. It's a wonderful experience. It started with you. It started with being on Tinfoil Hat, and what has been kind of created and cultivated since then is pretty remarkable. I'm very, very thankful for you. Very thankful for you taking the chance. It was kind of a wild episode. It sure was
a wild episode, and that's the funniest thing is like I always use you as an example about like it just like people they say stupid stuff about the show, about me, and I'm fine with it, but it's like, we're gatekeepers, we're controlled opposition, we're all this. I'm like, I think I found the Human Vibration when she had like 100 followers on Twitter. I mean, literally, it was just like, this is an interesting topic because for the show, interesting's more important than being famous. And you definitely had an interesting thing about JonBenet Ramsey. And then by the end of the episode, you were going into 9/11 and all the interesting stuff into that. So I'm glad that you have spread your wings and flew, and you're doing great stuff. And I was on your podcast a little while ago. I don't know if you're still podcasting with that guy or not, Rambo.
Yes. Rambo.
Rambo's,
Shout out Rambo.
Rambo's great. So
Yes.
we're glad that you're here. And it's kind of interesting because, you're like, it's so crazy that you were brand new to conspiracies, but like you were so deep on JonBenet Ramsey. Like usually like the training wheels is JFK, right? That's usually it.
Yeah.
I still find it amazing that everyone isn't a conspiracy theorist after COVID and how that's bullshit. And on all that. I mean, there's so much there that if you still don't believe it, I can't save you. I don't get mad at it anymore. Where are you with everything?
When we last chatted in April of 2020, COVID was still very new, very fresh. Many people were suspecting something was amiss, but we were not allowed to talk about it. I remember that was one of the topics that would just get you straight up banned, immediately stricken from YouTube, demonetized. If you even said the word in some instances, it was really frowned upon. We actually didn't talk about COVID as a manipulation, a complete work of fiction. The novel Coronavirus, because novel is a work of fiction.
Wow! I didn't
know.
thought about that. Johnny, you're a nerd dork. Did you think about that?
No.
The novel?
They always tell us.
I mean,
the
I know what
novel
novel means in the context of the virus, but
What does it mean in the
it
context?
means like unique, new, not seen before.
That's an interesting word because
It
unique
also
is the
means-
same
yeah.
as novel. It's this.
Right,
I
but
think
that-
it's the
yeah.
same syllables. Novel.
It's the
unique.
same word.
It's
they just
very
sneak these in.
interesting that they use novel, Johnny.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But we can. I think we can look back and look at that period of time as a pretty incredible opportunity to learn about ourselves and to learn about the world around us. A lot of people made huge changes in 2020, 2021. Like the years of Corona was transformative for many people. It was an awakening time for many people. For me, I know 2020 was just a complete 180. I don't even know how to describe it as that. It was just a whole new landscape, 100% new way of thinking, a brand new lens through which to see. And everywhere I looked after I adopted this new way of seeing the world, everything looked different to me. And I was into conspiracies before JonBenet, but I was on it, really from like 2017 to 2019, right up until 2020 when the fracturing in my mind split everything open. I was really deep down into the Pizzagate, Pedogate rabbit hole, Epstein Island. I was reading every single email I could of the Podesta emails, the fact that I could interact with it in that way. Of course, QAnon, every single Q drop, I was all over it. And very much I was very much in it. I was very much in it from that angle. And that's actually how I kind of arrived to JonBenet. There's a photograph that appears to show Ghislaine Maxwell in the background of a picture with JonBenet Ramsey. And at the time, I saw that, and this is like probably 2019 that I saw it, late 2019. When I saw that, I thought that it was proof that JonBenet Ramsey, too, had been caught up in this international cabal and the mystery here, the big mystery here. Who murdered JonBenet? It was Epstein. She was napped by Ghislaine Maxwell. And then same thing with Maddie McCann. She's kind of like the UK's JonBenet. There were these EFITs, which are the police kind of pictures of the suspects, and they were the Podesta brothers.
Right.
It was a spitting image of them, absolute templates. There's the exact same faces, and there was also this sketch of this woman like carrying Maddie McCann away, and it was Ghislaine Maxwell. And so these characters kind of seem to pop up in all of these stories. So at that time, I really was into the conspiracy, but I was into it kind of in the mainstream conspiracy way, believing all of the projections upon me about the evildoers of the world, all of the things that you can go into with Pizzagate, Pedogate. I don't even want to open those doors anymore. I mean, just the things that you let yourself think when you're trying to save the children is, I think that's the point, to get us to imagine all of these things in our minds, and that renders it into reality. If it exists in our mind, then it is real. And it can cause deep, deep trauma. And I think these periods of deep trauma, these things that I was looking into, I think I got too deep. And I think it really broke my brain. And maybe that's was the whole point of me being deep into Pizzagate, Pedogate, all that really sick stuff for years. I remember being at a wedding one time, a beautiful wedding. It was probably 2017, 2018. And I was just sitting at a table. Everybody else was dancing. I was just sitting there scrolling up John Podesta stuff. I was hooked. I could not release myself.
So
I kept thinking I was discovering, every email I read, I was finding new symbolism. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I see everything from a different angle.
Okay. All right. So let's get into that because you're implying a couple things. You are very much known for believing everything is a hoax, and that's okay. I'm fine with that because I'm going to meet you closer than some might think. But do you believe that the Pizzagate stuff is all a hoax?
I believe it is a complex fabrication.
So it is of your belief that children are not being trafficked?
I do believe that there is some bad shit happening in the world, but I do not believe that it's going on Epstein Island. Personally, I don't believe that Jeffrey Epstein is even a real person. I believe he's a character.
We're in it. We're in it.
We're there.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
in it. Here we are.
We're in it.
Classic human vibrations, and we're in it. So you don't believe any of that stuff?
No, actually, Sam, we've even recorded a whole episode on this for your Patreon.
Okay,
Jeffrey Epstein didn't exist years ago.
I did a lot of
Yes.
drugs. I wish our brains were like computers where you can just pull files and put it in the trash so you can have open.
Elon's working on it, baby. Get ready.
Yeah, get that Neuralink.
I'm not
Pop
getting
in,
on that
Elon.
Neuralink thing. I'm not. I'm going to be like my grandma when they came up with the answer machine message. She's like, it's the devil. I'm never using it. So, all right. So we discussed that. So let's get into what you want to discuss because I very much believe. So, obviously Q was Operation Trust, which is to get people to, kind of corral them into a certain area. I do believe they tell us a lot of stuff that is going on because we're so paranoid. But then there's a step more where you're like, none of that's real.
Yeah.
And so what is real? Is anything real?
Yeah, I think there's quite a bit that's real in our daily, waking, everyday existence. But we are too focused on nonsense to really be able to capitalize on our most precious resource, which is our focus, energy, and attention. I think that human attention truly is the prize. I think that we actually power this realm through our focused attention. It's what everything is trying to get. Every medium is trying to collect. Everywhere we look is a capture device. And these stories, conspiracy theories specifically, are excellent at captivating our attention, capturing our focus, energy, and attention, and that we are truly giving it away without realizing that it is a transfer, an energetic transfer. Our energy is measured in joules, Joules, but I also think that that's a tie-in to joule, as in a very precious material, because I do think that our energy is the prize. And so when we are pouring that out, we're pouring our precious emotional energy, our psychic energy, our attention, when we are kind of letting that loose, I think that it keeps us from living our actual lives to the fullest, experiencing the incredible power that I believe we are all instilled with. And I think everything's just a big trick to capture that, to keep us from truly living a full expression of what life as a human on the planet, realm, wherever we are, whatever this place is, I think that we're being diminished. Our ability to do that is being diminished. And I think that we're incredible creatures. You mentioned the brain as a machine or as a computer. Why can't the brain be a machine? I think we are. I think we are computers. People don't like comparing us to computers. Like, hey, I'm human. I'm not a hunk of metal over there. It's like, but we are incredibly intricate computational machines. We're bioorganic, but we still are incredible machines. There's no machine on anywhere in this realm that can compete with the intricacies and the precision of the human body.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
And I do think that our brains, they say we only use 10% of our brains, you know? I don't think that's true. I think
agree
that
with
they
that
have
too.
filled 90% of, the other 90 is filled with garbage, junk, nonsense.
I
Foolery.
totally think you're right. And I also believe that we are computers. And you know what that means, Johnny, that black teens in Brooklyn don't know what we are. You know what I'm saying? So,
what was that quote? That was just
so funny.
it's so funny.
Who said that?
You know,
just
you got
recently?
black teens in Brooklyn that don't even know what a computer is. You're like,
Was that Kathy Hochul or
yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
God.
But I want to meet you close to where you are. I want to meet you there because I believe that our attention is the most important thing. And I think that's why when you know, that like, again, like we talked in the last episode with that roast, right? Like why that is so, well, oh, look, we're back. We're back, man. Why are we back? Well, I'll tell you why we're back. Because if they don't bring us back, we're not going to pay attention to what they're making, which is that is, again, what human vibration is saying is the most important thing. The money isn't. Oh my God, Johnny, how many times do we on our Cash Daddy show do we see one guy saying Disney's losing all this money, and then Howie Dewey comes on and is like, yeah, the stock is up.
Every episode.
Every episode. It's not about the money, everybody. It's about your attention. It is really about your attention and getting you to pay attention. That's why. Now, there is a segment of society that they watch this woke shit, and that's why they continue to do it, because it does get some people. But they don't care about the money. They care about that they can't propagandize you anymore. That's their problem. That's why they're freaking out. And that's why they allow Tony Hinchcliffe to say fag on his fucking thing, right? That's why. That's why. Why suddenly can I say the N-word on Instagram and because
YouTube, dude. We've been getting away with it on YouTube a couple
because
times.
they need to bring us back in, and they're never going to admit it. But this is how they bring us back in. This is how they get us, by bringing the savages back in, by allowing us to do what we want to. And there's 100% a cultural revolution going on, a cultural revolution in the sense of Marxism, cultural Marxism is 100% going on. But I think they're starting to realize they can't do it how they did in Russia. And they can't do it how they did it in China with this color revolution. I think people are waking up to it and pulling out left and right. People aren't going to universities, college like they used to. People aren't joining the military anymore. People aren't watching their dog shit. But you know, somebody said the other day, being called a racist right now means zero. It used to be the white N-word. It used to be like if you got called a racist, you would run around scrambling because your career was done. Now it's like, go fuck yourself. Cry harder, pussy. Right? That's how it goes.
Just like Nazi.
No, what?
Nazi.
Yeah, just like Nazi. They killed that
Oh, you're
one.
a Nazi. Oh, cool.
And, you know, we can get into the whole, like, I really do believe the reason they're panicking, one of the reasons they're panicking, because the last firewall is anti-Semitism, Judaism, which lets them get into the real sorcery. It's not about Jews, it's about sorcery. I know we're going to get pounded on the internet for saying that. It is sorcery at the deepest levels. It is black magic sorcery. So, so let's keep going with what you're saying.
Yeah, and on that note, too, you've always talked about dark arts, the shadow work, the dark, the nefarious things happening in the background, the black magic. I believe truly that this place is kind of operating under a spell, some sort of spell, and I think that is cast through everything, all the media, all of the mediums. Language, they call it spelling for a reason. I absolutely believe that we have been under some sort of spell, and that spell has kept us from recognizing the absurdity, has kept us from recognizing the theater the theatrical nature of the traumatic events that seem to be unfolding before our eyes. And I think what is happening now, you're exactly right. I think people are pulling their energy and they're pulling their attention away from these polarizing power. That means powerful. Polarizing just means powerful, magnetic polarization. But away from these polarizing situations, whether it be racial divide, whether, anything, name any war skirmish happening right now, there's division there. Really anything anything you can see on the TV or read on the internet, there's some sort of polarization about that.
It's all an intelligence trick. Everything on television is controlled. Nothing, and that, I had a conversation with a comic one time, and he just couldn't understand nonlinear warfare, no matter how much I explained it to him. And I'm like, he's like, you don't understand. People say stupid shit. I go, yeah, but dude, that doesn't mean it makes it to the final product. Every moment of that 30-minute show, every second of that is micromanaged. That's it. So it's like, who was it? Johnny, was it you were telling me this? That when we see these stupid ass, man on the streets, we're like, look how dumb everybody is, right? Like, they don't tell you that. They go through 7 hours, 8 hours of people.
I know for jaywalking, they would interview
to find 1 minute of content of someone being dumb, right? Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our boy James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Listen, I'm hanging and banging in crypto. I love it. I'm watching my GPU. I'm watching my Bitcoin. I'm watching my Ethereum. And dude, if you want to learn how to play the game of crypto, how to make money in the crypto market, because it's on fire right now, let me tell you about James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Let me tell you about Copy My Crypto. Has it pissed you off to watch crypto fly up in prices for over a decade and you still done nothing about it? It makes sense. Crypto is complicated and it's really boring. Well, here's the good news. You don't have to know a thing about crypto to make money like so many have. The CopyMyCrypto.com membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTube's James McMahon personally owns, which means you just copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest, as you simply copy along. So let me tell you more about James. He runs Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has over 54,000 subscribers. Congrats, James. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put in $100 into each one, it went on to be worth over $123,000. Damn, dude. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick of the year, the one he singled out, called Phantom, went up 692 times from when he said. That one call has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's TFH. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but my viewers get full access for just $1. $1. Yes, you've missed out on Bitcoin, but there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you've missed out on all of them? Guys, don't waste any more time. Go to the site and read it. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. It's ended money worries for so many. It may just do the same for you. Copymycrypto.com. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about a brand that I love to wear all the time, and that is True Classic. And I'm not even kidding. I have True Classic on right now. Look at that. Styling, profiling.
Head to
okay?
toe.
I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. I'm crushing it, okay? This is how much I love True Classic clothes. I wear it when I do stand-up.
I couldn't believe it. I saw that.
I'm True Classicing it. I'm up there just being a True Classic in my True Classics. That's how I'm doing it. So listen, elevate your style this summer with True Classic, where timeless pieces meet modern comfort. And it's true. It's so comfortable. Our favorite supporter, True Classic, and we love them, is here to help make a summer to remember in clothing you will never forget. Say goodbye to the old, worn out tees and hello to True Classic Ultra Comfortable Essentials range. And dude, the shirts are fire. They're super thin, they feel comfortable, and they're great for the summer. I'm telling you, I wear them everywhere. Form-fitted t-shirts, athletic leisure, jeans, sweaters, outerwear, and more. Make it a true classic, okay? Whether you're hitting the gym, relaxing at home, exploring the globe, or the flat plane, okay? Or doing stand-up on stage, True Classic has you covered. They've already helped 2 million men look great in their apparel, and now you can save big while you do so. For a limited time only, get 25% off when you shop now with my exclusive link at trueclassic.com/tinfoil. Is that it?
That's it. That's pretty much the one you're wearing.
Tinfoil. Listen to me, guys. Men, how jealous are we of women in yoga pants? They've figured out a way to wear one piece of clothing everywhere, whether it's a business meeting, nightclub, hiking. Guess what? We got the male version of it. It's called True Classic. You can wear this everywhere all the time. I've already done it.
My girl even told me I look slimmer in the pants, those gym pants. So,
those right there, those joggers?
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, they're jogger.
Dude, they're the best. I'm not even kidding, guys. It's like I'm done with jeans. I'm going straight true. Oh, dude, they even have cranberry? I'm getting it. Why don't I have that?
That's your color?
Oh, dude, I love different colors. Look at that.
I mean, you painted the whole studio cranberry, so you must
I do love the color, dude. They got it. Listen, designed to accentuate your best features, True Classic shirts are tailored for a perfect fit, snug in the arms and chest with just the right amount of room in the midsection. And believe me, I need it, okay? The best part is that True Classic sells premium products at affordable prices, okay? You can get their best selling t-shirts, hoodies, jeans, and more. 369 packs. It's just that simple, guys. It's just that simple. So one more time. So if you're ready to upgrade your closet, shop now with our exclusive link at trueclassic.com/tinfoil and save 25% off your first order. Discover the perfect blend of summer vibes and timeless elegance with True Classic. Shop now, elevate your summer wardrobe with ease. Guys, I can't recommend this enough. Again, I use this product all the time. I hope you can too. Enjoy True Classic.
Like what Johnny told me, on Game of Thrones, when you thought that cup was an accident. I thought it was. I was like, oh, I bet you someone's getting fired. Dun, dun, dun. No.
This wasn't me. No.
It might not have been you. Or,
no, but they do that to have people talk
the
about
Starbucks cup.
Yeah, but that must have been put in there.
Well,
advertising.
Like if you go, Sam, do you think that Tom Brady moment with Jeff Ross was real? I would tell you it's not. I would tell you they go, we need to make a viral moment for everybody to talk about.
Yeah.
Little did they know that Tony Hinchcliffe was going to go supernova, right? So they didn't need it, but that's the moment that and it's all contrived. It's all a trick.
Yeah. I mean, it's hot right now, but the rap beefs unfolding before our very eyes right now, it feels contrived. It feels hollow. It feels forced. It feels too much. I think what's kind of interesting is there's a new question being asked, which we haven't really asked before, but people are asking, who cares? Who cares about this beef? Who cares? Why are these grown men even beefing? And previously, and I've been very guilty. I love celebrity stuff. I love, oh God, back in the heyday when Britney was shaving her head, I couldn't get enough. And now, oh my God, she's imploding again. But even these implosions, they're controlled demolitions. They're designed to unfold exactly as they are. It does feel scripted in a sense that it is following a very specific, almost like mechanical, almost like a mechanism, following a very specific path. And not scripted as in lines of dialogue from a play or movie, but scripted as in a computer script, auto-executing computer code. These things feel very programmed. And, something that kind of indicates this grander script that we see a lot too is these date durations and gematria. I stay away from the numbers because I'm actually really, really bad with numbers. But when I see, this event happened 333 years between this, or, even the queen dying 911 days, 911 days after Corona shut down the world. These little coincidences feel grander, feel mechanized. They feel like they're operating from some sort of playbook that is almost inhuman. That's outside of the like the mechanisms that we have understanding, space, time, which are all kind of fallacies, but it feels like someone's operating from outside of this realm, the precision and the perfect, with things hitting back and through history. And I personally, I don't really believe in deep history. I think that everything we know of history is also fabricated. So it's, my thoughts in that vein don't stop with the characters like Jeffrey Epstein, but all through time. And I think that everything we've been taught and told about a deep history is fake. I don't believe in dinosaurs. I don't believe in space. Space requires us to comprehend a great distance, a vast distance that is really incomputable to us, time and space and a far out there answer. All the answers are far out there. Dinosaurs really make us believe also in a great distance, but in a historical distance, in a time span.
Yes.
So I think both space and dinosaurs, and they just get shoved down kids' throats, space and dinosaurs. I think they're both establishing false ideas of what this place is, the context of this place, our relationship within this place. Because if you believe in outer space and you believe in dinosaurs, then we're just a fucking blip on the radar.
Yeah.
We're just a piece of dust.
Yeah.
We are nothing. We're nothing,
That's
truly,
what they want
if you believe that.
That's what they
but
want
I believe
you to believe.
the exact opposite.
For sure.
I believe we're so powerful. I believe here and now is revolutionary. Every moment is an opportunity for us to potentially, I don't know what that is, but I think that there is something really big that we can do as humans together. And I think we're just kind of being divided. We're being kept from ever truly connecting. We're being kept from ever truly understanding our power and potential. And I think these logical fallacies, I love language, but I think even the way we communicate is keeping us from a great and a true understanding. I don't think that we have the vocabulary to explain the world around us. I don't think we've ever been given it. And I think the vocabulary we do have is woefully inept in actually expressing the truth.
I agree with that. I agree with so much of what you said. Nothing's real. Again, just like we talked on the last episode, this notion of like things being inorganic, but then people like, my friend Joe Rogan and all the comics that he's blown up, everyone calling it inorganic. Yeah. What have we seen? One right after another. All the gangster rap are homo thugs, right?
Yeah. Oh, the word thug comes from deception.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So we got all these homo
etymology of thug.
thugs. We're finding out all these famous rock stars are just the kids of the military industrial complex. What is real? You keep wanting the industry to be like the disseminator of truth, and it's reality. It's all intelligence tricks. That's all it is. None of it's real. It's all bullshit.
Like if that Diddy thing comes out or any of that,
well, they're killing it. They're killing the story. But you don't even believe that stuff. You don't think he was banging fat ass Meek Mill?
My favorite part of the Diddy thing is a prominent Texas pastor got kind of wrangled in. His name's Bishop T.D. Jakes. And he was purported to be a power bottom.
Wait, are you serious? I know I know who that is. Wow, is that?
Yeah,
oh,
he was.
Wow.
Say that again.
He's involved in some.
He's huge.
Of the text messages that P. Diddy's ex-wife and Anyway, blah, blah, that just, whenever I heard that, I'm just like, man, all the characters are roped into this. But, they're talking about P. Diddy as the Epstein of the rap world. I think that that's telling.
But if you don't believe Epstein was real, is Diddy's thing real?
I think it's all manufactured. I think everything, these ups and downs.
But do you think
of celebrities,
Diddy is a
I
fake?
think they're all manufactured. I think it's, they have their humiliation rituals. You guys know all about those. I think what's happening right now with P. Diddy is an expression of a humiliation ritual, essentially.
Do you believe that P. Diddy is real?
I think our biggest icons, and I break down that word to icon, I think they're not real. I think they're characters. I think they're potentially played by multiple people over a lifetime. That's why they always kind of look different, Even our politicians. Biden has a different set of earlobes every 5 years. I don't think that's because he's getting earlobe surgery. I think that's because a different base actor is representing Biden every so often.
Have you seen that reel about Jim Carrey being Joe Biden and all that stuff? You think it's kind of like that? One guy plays all these different characters, and that's why.
Yeah, I think that can be explained a lot of ways. I think that a single base could play multiple characters. I also think that a single character can be played by multiple bases over a lifetime, if that makes sense. I'll give you the example of Netflix, The Crown. They have a series called The Crown, and it's multiple seasons long, and it's about the royal family. And every few seasons, they just recast every role. New queen, new king, new prince, new new ancillary characters, completely new cast, same characters, but new base actors playing those characters. And I think that is telling us something about how this operates, how the royal family operates, for one, because I think the royal family has been a construct forever, a fictional construct forever, for as long as we understand our comprehension of royalty. But I think it's also with, huge in politics. I think politics is just a way to, again, siphon our energy, take away the idea of how powerful we are, and we, put all of our faith into the hands of non-existent entities. And I think the government really just is executed through the corporate system. It's a fictional. The whole idea of federal government is a construct as well. Even our whole country, the Constitution. I think that, I don't know where it begins and where it ends, but I do think that now is the most important period of time. I think that with what we're experiencing today, the avalanche of revelations, technological revelations, with the explosion of
the tsunami,
our understanding, the
technology.
tsunami.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's get into
the
that.
So the last time we talked, again, I'm comparing everything to 2020, April of 2020.
I can't believe it's been 4 years since
I
you were on.
know. I can't.
So crazy.
I was like having to count on my fingers. I was like, okay, that's a year, and then that's a year, and then that's a year, and then that's a year.
That's crazy. I can't believe you can't go this long.
It is crazy, and not a year goes by that I'm not thankful. I tell the Realize Radio crew all the time. On multiple episodes, I thank you, Sam, for giving me a launch, because it really all ties back to that.
Thank you.
But I think that now really is a pivotal moment for. I've previously called it awakening. But I don't necessarily believe it's an awakening now in a sense of like waking up per se. But I do think that there is a recognition happening, a recognition that everything that we're being shown is some sort of false projection, and B, it's potentially always been that way. And C, right now with all of the technology that's in our faces, and we talked, 4 years ago, I was talking about GAN technology in relation to John Benet Ramsey, and some of the language that I used with, generative adversarial networks and this robust identity creation, 3D rendering. A lot of that language was just not really familiar at the time. Fast forward 4 years, we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about this type of technology in the past 4 years. Everybody has access to ChatGPT now, Midjourney, DALL-E, text to video is now being shown to us. And I think that what some, and I think more will be doing, but what some are doing now is recognizing that this technology is not new. It's simply new to us, and it's being rolled out in a very controlled fashion.
I'm going to tell you something. You're nailing my belief in the Mandela effect. I think the Mandela effect is a completely and utterly contrived thing done by DARPA because we're 40 years behind. I think they have the technology because they created the internet to now replace videos on the internet instantly.
So you're saying that Mandela effect solely exists online, like they delete things online and make. I got you. Okay.
So my whole thing is, and it goes back to what Islam and why they memorize the Quran is because they say that the jinns can change your reality, but they can't change what's in your mind. So they memorize the Quran, right? So if you go through that, the internet was created by these people. They've had it forever. And now suddenly just things just start popping up here and there. And we all know that the whole goal of cultural Marxism, which leads into what the human vibration is in fact saying, is that they want you to not believe in your eyes, your ears, or the wisdom of your experience. So now they literally have a program that can change what you believe. Oh, Brittany is in a plaid skirt. Look at the video. She's in a black skirt. Oh, Brittany had a microphone in her video. Look at the video. Now she has no microphone. These are done to get you to not trust your instincts.
Because it sounds crazy. You're like, how are they going to get Brittany not to hold a microphone? Look at what.
I work at a drive-through microphone.
But what I'm trying to say, it sounds crazy, right? But look what AI can do right now. And you don't think the government has better shit?
100%. 100%. That this is the whole point. Like, the reason this show has done well for so long is because so much of it is about our gut feeling and us going with our gut feeling and us telling people how we fucking feel. And then it turns out 6 months later, 2 years later, then all the safe, dangerous people are talking about exactly what we talked about 6 months ago to 2 years ago. Because we trust our gut, and I'm psychic, okay? Johnny doesn't want to believe it, but I come from psychics. So everything you're saying right now really resonates with me, that if we're now getting the beginning of AI, what's 40 years down the line AI like? Because that's what they could be working with. But even that could be a panopticon. Prison, right? So now even the deeper 3D chess is they want us to believe this. Again, I bring it up all the time, but the belief that the Google is sending your data to the FBI if you study this one video, but they're not telling you what video that is. Oh, it's kind of like the terror alerts. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, salmon colored terror alert. Where's the terror? We can't tell you.
Like what they're doing with the airlines now, same thing. All these little stories of plane doors flying off and shit.
Oh, yeah.
No, and you brought up planes. Same thing I used to think about 9/11. For sure, planes went in there. That could have been drones.
But also
That
what
could have
Human
been drones.
Vibration said a long time ago.
Nothing was there.
She came with the receipts, which were articles from that time where the hospital said nobody showed up. That's a hard one to get into. But there's pictures of the buildings. They seem empty that day. We're just talking.
I mean, look at the buildings in LA. Are they full? You think there's hundreds of people walking in those buildings going left in and out?
I'm with you, dude. I mean,
We don't know if
I mean,
we don't know if that building was full
here's
of
where
people.
Johnny.
Well, we know-
Johnny. We're just talking.
but don't you know people who know, like, who lost people? And like, I do in 9/11.
Well, yeah. I mean, like that's all I'm
They
saying.
went somewhere. I mean,
That's all
somebody
I'm
went
saying
somewhere.
is that she came with the receipts, which said hospitals, said nobody. I'm not saying
Now it's entirely possible they got whisked off to the underworld or something.
anything's
certainly.
possible, bro. We're just talking.
They got deleted by the
We're
programmer.
just having conversations. Hey guys, real quick, I'm very excited to tell you about our new sponsor. Well, they've been with us for a little while and we love them very much. It's like a woman you've been with. It just seems new all the time because you love them so much. And that is our good friends at Freeze Pipe. That's right, Freeze Pipe. Okay, ever experienced the agony of harsh smoke? Let me tell you, when I did it, I did, okay? Throat burning or coughing attacks when smoking cannabis. The struggle is real, but the solution is chili. That's right. I'm talking to you about the smoothest way to light up, and that's with Freeze Pipe. Right. Freeze Pipe makes a unique line of freezable pipes, bubblers, and bongs that are 80% cooler than using ice cubes to chill smoke. Come on, man. Come on, dude. The magic is freezable glycerin chambers that come on every piece. Simply pop the chamber in the freezer for 1 hour and smoke passes through it. It's instantly chilled by over 300 degrees, so every puff arrives ice cold and cough free. Guys, I mean, come on, dude. It's got to be the best.
It's the best. It's the best. It makes me the Cheech and Chong over there at Be Real Studios. I show up. I put it in the freezer before I show up. I get there. I pack my weed. I don't share with anybody else because I'm a little bit stingy and it's that good. But yes, these are the best. No cough, no smoke. Let's do it.
Let's do it, dude. He gets everybody high.
Everybody.
Then he shares it. And he shares it, and everyone gets high. They're like, oh, XG, you are the best. How do you ask such crazy questions when you're so smart? How do you do that? Right? Well, I'll tell you. He does it because of Freeze Pipes. So I'm proud to announce it's an American-owned company, okay, with over 100,000 happy customers. Freeze Pipe uses the thickest of glass. Thick-ass glass, like thick-ass ass.
Thick glass, bro.
Dude, I love thick glass. And a market-leading glycerin chambers for a smoother experience you will have to feel to believe. Ditch the hard smoke forever by visiting thefreezepipe.com and use the code TINFOIL for 10% off your order. Come on! That's thefreezepipe.com and code TINFOIL for 10% off. Shop today for free shipping and smoke like royalty without paying a king's ransom. That's thefreezepipe.com and code TINFOIL, one word. Okay, so go on with your technology, your chat GPT and all that stuff.
Well, okay, we mentioned 9/11. We've already broached that topic. So let's talk about technology with 9/11. Something very interesting. The year before 9/11, in 2000, there was a complete overhaul of how broadcast systems, news systems transmitted and received their transmissions, how the kind of video package, how everything got from station A to station B and broadcast to us as the viewers, and all of the networks were overhauled from an analog system to a digital system, and this enabled kind of HD delivery of live broadcasts for all news networks, starting with the major news networks and then the local news networks. But by 2001, everybody was onboarded with this new way of transmitting their imagery. And that effort was spearheaded by a company called Jaleo North America. Jaleo North America was responsible for this overhaul of all broadcast systems in the United States. And that company, Jaleo North America, was headed at the time by John Benet Ramsey's father.
What?
Yeah, that he made that strategic move after Access Graphics. After the John Benet situation, quietly folded his company Access Graphics, which even that name alludes to a graphic individual. And that was his next move. the same Mr. PSYOP transitioned right over to Jalea North America. All news streams were changed. And I mention this because what we saw that day, I believe what we saw that day was CGI planes, was an insertion over broadcast. Really, the only thing I believe about 9/11 was that buildings were standing and then they were no longer standing. It appears to me that they came down in a controlled demolition, just as a rational, logical mind. That's how they appear. If you look at a controlled demolition, that is what they look like. That is what the buildings, they came down in free fall on their center points. And if you look at controlled demolitions, they follow the exact same trajectory and that same.
Are you in the direct energy weapons?
I think that it's our energy that's being directed.
Because they can manipulate weather. We've had guests come on and talk about it.
Yeah. The whole Saudi Arabia cloud seeding discussion, or the UAE, wherever, they were making it rain and then there was like intense flooding. I do believe that weather manipulation is possible. I not that far off from the Truman Show, just kind of fiddling with the little knobs, make it rain over here, make it rain over there. I think that there very well could be a grand manipulation of weather. I also sometimes wonder if we are controlling the weather, our energetic states. I sometimes wonder if we get whipped into frenzies, and our energy is causing responses when you think about weather, what is lightning? It's just electricity, and these weather, they even call them systems, weather systems. It's all about energy and electricity and highs and low pressure systems. And I don't pretend to be a meteorologist, but I do think weather could be manipulated, but I don't think the conspiracy community is ever let to know the truth. We're given a lot of cool avenues to explore, interesting avenues, usually nefarious avenues where there's some evil overlord at the back of it, But I think that there could be, a third side to the coin. Not weather is completely natural, not weather is manipulated by, knobs and switches in some control room, but a different way of exploring that could be from us. We are influencing this place, and our energy is making an impact. And this is off topic, but why not? I don't believe in dinosaurs, so I don't believe that oil is dinosaur goo.
Yeah, I
don't believe that.
Totally agree with that.
What?
But I get into you're not religious though.
I've grown to be way more open to the idea of a grand creator, a god, whatever you want to call it. I'm really into inner divinity. I think that we've all got some sort of special spark. But I think the oil could be our energy burn off. I think that our energy powers this place, and that it's got. There's always, whenever if you've ever smoked tobacco or other, you guys are in California, so it doesn't matter. If you ever smoke pot, like there's a residue. There's a tar-like residue that remains. And I think that perhaps that tar-like residue that we're experiencing from bubbling up from the earth, I think it could be our burn-off. I think it could be, if you want to call it loosh, we've used that word. If you want to call it that, I think that when that gets spent, wouldn't it take the cake if we're buying our own energy back? They're selling it to us we're paying for our own energy at the gas pump. It would just be the biggest fuck you. And I think that there's a lot of those little things.
I agree.
And man, I'm really far afield, but just I'm still very much in a period of rethinking everything, reevaluating everything I've ever been taught and told, and trying to come to a sense of what feels right. You mentioned trusting your gut. And
do you feel exhausted doing that? Because people always go, oh, Sam, it must be so exhausting doing what you do. I go, it's not really. The thing about me versus, let's say, my girlfriend who watches MSNBC all the time, is that I only check in to see the psyop that they're running so I know not to react to it. Right?
Yeah.
And that anybody who might listen to me, I go, hey, dude, this isn't what they're telling us. You know, do I believe that there is, let's say, what's going on in Gaza? Do I believe that's happening? I do believe that's happening. But I think that is a part of their movement to destroy our history. All that ancient history that is in that area, which is Mesopotamia, is being annihilated.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, would you, Human Vibration, would you believe that that ancient history is genuine?
You know, Israel's pretty dang new, 1947.
Not Israel, but
the cradle of civilization, the greater area.
Yes.
You know, I think that there's an interesting exploration about how Egypt is in the United States. You know, our Mississippi River it kind of mirrors the Nile River. I think that could be some in how the United States is. I don't really believe in territories and locations per se, because I think that everything is happening in our minds. That's not a very helpful answer, but no, I don't believe in deep history, and I also believe that every war ever has been theater, immersive theater.
What do you think about? Because I know you probably have heard about
So hold
Tartaria.
on, real quick.
Go ahead.
So I have a great uncle. I'm named after him. My father's named after him. He was my grandfather's brother. He died in the war. Are you saying you don't think he died in the war?
I think people can get hurt out there. I think that, and if you actually look into military deaths, the vast majority of military deaths are accidents, on-base accidents, vehicular accidents, training accidents. If you really dig into the numbers, and this is also something very, very interesting, you know, kind of going on in the same vein of the nobody died on 9/11, but I think that the idea of active battle of man versus man and frontline battle, I don't buy into it. I think that the soldiers are in an elaborate haunted house that they do not realize is a haunted house. I think it feels very real.
I think we live in a haunted house. I've said that forever. I'm going to say something. The only thing that I would say is that I think that there are people around us that aren't necessarily real ones.
I could see that.
So they're not real ones. They're
What do you mean by that?
I don't want to say that people aren't of value.
You mean NPCs is what
Yes.
you're saying. Okay.
I think there are NPCs.
Yeah.
And
I don't think we have the language, but yeah, I know what you mean.
And
Yep.
listen, I'm going to tell you something. It is possible that within your own family, there are NPCs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And you love them and you care for them, but they could be a giant part of the texture of this reality. And it's very hard to say that.
What if you're an NPC, bro?
I'm with you, Sam.
I don't
with
think
you.
I am. I don't.
I think you're a live wire.
I think I'm a
think you
live
can spark
one.
it.
I think I'm a
Yeah.
live one. I don't think I don't think I am an NPC because
Would you know though?
I think if you have inner thought, I don't think you are.
Think if
Yeah, well, that blew my mind when we read that story a while back about how some great percentage of people have no inner monologue.
Now listen to what you just
Aphantasia.
said right
Oh
there.
yes, no, they can't
great
picture.
percentage. A great percentage.
Yeah, it was like most people don't have an inner monologue.
So listen, I'm not devaluing anybody. I'm not saying that anybody isn't real. If something that I say right now is about a family member you cared about, that's not what I'm talking about. But I think a lot of stuff, the violence, the war, and all that stuff that you see on the news is NPC involved.
Maybe this thing too. Maybe it's just they're on a different frequency, on a different level of existence. You know?
So when my disagreement with with the human vibration is I think there is real war. I think that people do die, but I think that is part of the texture of this reality. And again, that is not devaluing anybody. I'm going to dedicate my special to my great uncle that died at 20 years old. I mean, he didn't even get to live his life.
That is very sad.
Okay, what I kind of, maybe in the middle, I feel like some of my friends, I feel like they're kind of NPCs because they don't, like, they just work a 9 to 5, they don't care, and I feel like they're NPCs, but I think they have to be part of this world for it to work out for me. Is that what you mean?
That's kind of what I believe.
Yeah, or they have to be there. They have to be there, even though you can try to wake them up. They see that you're woke. They say that you're on tinfoil. I'm like, do you listen? And they're like, they listen, but it doesn't.
I also think NPCs can become self-actualized.
Actually.
Oh, you think they can?
I think they can. I think they can.
That would support the idea that they're on a different plane of existence, right? Maybe a different frequency that they need to. Yeah, this is a dangerous topic though because it leads to devaluing human lives.
Johnny, how many times do I have to say it?
But I'm saying it's it's like a slippery slope.
And again,
I think you're right.
I'm talking about my uncle, my great uncle. I'm talking about. I don't think but I just think it's possible that there is a scenario where there a lot.
This is how I think the elites think about us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we're just color for their.
I think
for their lives. Yeah,
I think so, but I just feel like the more and more that this is a realm of and its energy and all that stuff. I don't know.
Like that thing where they always ask, "Have you ever seen your neighbors do anything like or do the groceries or something like that?" Yeah, and you think about like, well, have I ever seen them put the groceries in? And you're like, or your teacher, you just think your teacher when I was a little kid. I'm like, oh, my teacher just literally comes to teach me, goes home and does nothing.
That's why all this teachers like doing all this crazy shit right now is so shocking to everybody.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I had a teacher bonus student every single year I was in high school, so my teachers were getting up.
It's
got to
be hard to turn it down if you're like
so hard.
It was women and men too. It was equal.
Especially
50-50.
like, imagine if you're a hot teacher, but you grew up thinking nobody thought you were attractive, and now you're back in high school, and you're like sexually mature, and now you got the jocks that you knew in high school would not have liked you if you were back in, but now they're all throwing you attention.
Temptation Island.
Temptation Island. It's this is a dangerous day. Johnny's uncomfortable. He won't make eye contact with me. It's a dangerous I'm just saying, we're just talking.
I love it.
It's savage out there right now. If you ever want to have a war episode, Les Luthor, he's incredible. He I mentioned theater, and they actually call war theater. Any active battle is actually technically called a theater. That's the language that the military uses. Yeah. And even Sun Tzu's Art of War, I think that is very telling. It's art. It's not real. But I think that he does the explorations and explanations much more thoroughly than me, and he's boots on the ground. He went to when the war broke out in Ukraine. He went there to see, and his takeaways are pretty incredible. I've done on Realize Radio. We've had quite a few recordings with him, and it's illuminating to say the very least. So if you ever do want to have some sort of episode where you explore war from a completely different way of seeing it, I highly recommend Les Luthor. He's amazing. And he does, people talk about,
but
and I talk about this, but he goes there.
When I meet people who talk about what they experience in war, what do you think they're talking about?
The sights, the sounds, to borrow some phrases from what Les has explored, it's immersive theater. It's 4D immersive theater. It's if you're in a war-torn area, and these battle areas are usually uninhabited, where the battles are taking place. A lot of the area in the Ukraine, it's kind of like vast wasteland. There's a lot of unpopulated places that they said that some of the battles were going on. But when they were, in Kiev and were in these city centers, Les went there during the time that was supposed to have been active battle, and it's really just a sensory experience, almost like a theme park. You know, you hear the sirens, you see the smoke off in the distance, you have lockdowns, you can't leave your homes in between, you know, certain hours, and there's military presence in the street. There's literally tanks being paraded through the streets. So you see tanks rolling around. Again, the air raid sirens going off nonstop. All the bus stations and train stations and airports being completely kind of shut off or minimized entrance. So if you do go, you're just in this incredibly long line, and it feels very inconvenient. It feels very scary. It feels very real for anyone who's experiencing it. None of that means actual battle is taking place. But
what about people who've been in like gunfights, and you think they were just they when they're in the plane, maybe being transported there, they put them in some kind
I
of
think
simulation
military
or something?
ballistics are like cap guns. I think that the actual weaponry that's used by the military, like the arm,
so deep. I mean, it's so deep, and this is what I did last time, where I'm like, okay, this is her beliefs. Let's.
Well, you know, TNT, fireworks, it's the same as
I mean, I know a guy. I know a guy got shot in the leg in Afghanistan and nearly bled out on the battlefield. So he got hit by something. I don't know what it was.
An IUD, or I do think that there are injuries. I do think that there are injuries that take place, but I think that there's lots of ways to completely trick and immersively trick every person who is a part of it, from the soldiers themselves. In my, you know, I have a father who fought in Vietnam. He's no longer alive, but it wasn't because of the war. But my grandfather fought. I have people in my life. You know, it's close to me, but and I believe their battle stories. Not that they talk about it very much, and really, if my dad ever talked about it, it was the harrowing nature of his Marine training. Kind of getting dropped into the middle of the ocean and the pitch black of night with your full tactical gear on and having to like pick the right direction to go. And if you pick the wrong direction, you're dead. That was very, you know, that he remembers the training as the most harrowing and really scary element of his. And he was actively in Vietnam for 3 years. And so I think that might be a little telling too, that the training was more death-defying than active battle. But, you know, I do spout off quite a few theories, and, you know, it's just a different, once you try on this lens, once you look at one thing through this lens, it renders everything else you look at differently.
Okay. That's fine. I don't want to go. That's fine. Let's get into the royal family. You were talking a lot about how this, you know, exploring the monarchy and imaginary construct. Can we get into that?
Yeah. You know, I think that the royal family is really interesting right now as part of the technological revelations that we were talking about earlier. What was it? About a month ago, there was a huge scandal with Kate's Photoshop fail, or, you know, whatever they were calling it, where she digitally manipulated the images. It was pretty dang obvious. Everybody started seeing, you know, inconsistencies and anomalies within these images. And then quickly that became the story that there, you know, she did an oopsie and did, you know, a bad Photoshop job. I think that whole story was actually a very cleverly devised way to teach the public how to see, teach us that there are manipulated imagery coming from quote unquote official sources, and that we need to learn how to spot it. And I think that might have been just a kind of a laying of the groundwork to help us understand that not everything coming from an official place is going to be true or valid or real. It was, you know, a little chink in the armor there. It was a little crack in the facade. If the royal family what else are they lying to us about? And then she had a video that came out not that long after where she told everybody about her cancer diagnosis, and then that video began to be scrutinized, where it was obviously it seemed to me like a digital deep fake. The background was completely unreal. Her movements were very odd. Her hand glitched at a certain point where her ring was on and then her ring was off. Her blink rate was completely unnatural. And then again, I think that was kind of getting into another layer of not just that the royal family themselves are doing little Photoshop trickery and that we should question what's coming out from them because it could be manipulated, but perhaps that the identities themselves, these entities that we think that maybe they're manipulations themselves. And I think that this goes back really for, actually at the Queen's Jubilee a couple of years ago, they debuted a hologram of the Queen in the carriage. I'm not sure if you remember that image, but it was the Queen's hologram being paraded through the streets, and it was inside the carriage, and it was just her hologram going around. It wasn't actually her physical body. And I think that was a revelation to how it's always been. I personally do not believe that there's ever been a monarchy, an actual valid monarchy. And this is an interesting exploration. This is a great homework for everybody. There's a woman, her name is Ella Slack, and she is known to be the Queen's stand-in. She has a very similar physical stature of the Queen. Oh yeah, there's that hologram.
Oh, that's weird.
I think it's always been that way, guys. I think, and I think they keep, like, this looks hokey. That looks like a hologram. It looks kind of,
Oh, I've
it
seen,
doesn't
I've
look
seen
that
that Michael Jackson show in Vegas with his hologram. It appears at the end, and it's almost indistinguishable from reality. I mean, it is impressive. Yeah.
and Johnny, I think I think that the true capacity is indistinguishable. So, and the royal, we're told they're a construct. We're told they're powerless. That we're told that they're just kind of figureheads, that they don't really do anything, that they have no real power. Their purpose is purely visual, keeping up appearances of this construct. And I think that again is telling us something. But Ella Slack is, she is interesting, and there's these interesting videos on her. They don't keep her a secret, but every live appearance, quote unquote, that the Queen ever did, may she rest, every live appearance was preceded by a rehearsal, and that rehearsal was done by the Queen's stand-in. Her name was Ella Slack. She did everything the Queen would be doing. She walked the exact same trajectory. If the Queen was going to be walking from point A to point B, Ella Slack would do a true rehearsal. She would do everything that the Queen would be doing eventually, so they say. And something that we've explored on Realize Radio, and shout out to Rambo, my co-host. He's from the UK. He's kind of grown up with the royal fever. And it's really been great to explore this with him. Go Manchester. But something that we've explored is that the rehearsal is the event. What Ella Slack does, she goes through these motions, and then her visage is just manipulated. The Queen's appearance is really just a manipulation of this base that has already done the exact motion and action, and then that is just layered over. And what we see as the public, it's coming through the screens. We actually don't have as close a relationship to these figures as we may think we do. Even if you are, really into the monarchy and you want to go to Buckingham Palace to see it yourself, and you stand, out by the gates and you see the Queen waving from the balcony or what have you, you're truly never close enough to actually see if it's her, if it's the Queen. Whether it's, I think in-person appearances, body doubles, very, very easy. We already know this. There's a million Putins out there, and it's said that he has body doubles. And I think that so kind of like an analog, wigs, fake teeth, silicone masks, makeup, your old Hollywood magic. I think that is a way to have these entities, these characters appear when need be on the rare occasions that they actually need to appear in real life. I think that that's done by body doubles. And then everything else is new Hollywood magic, is digital deepfakes and these identity overlays and manipulations that advanced holography that is indistinguishable from real life. And, I think there could be physical holograms too. Like imagine like if you could just put on a layer, those green man suits where it's like a full sleeve of just a green, and that's what they used to use for green screen, whatever, and then it became like a costume. Well, imagine that, but like a holography base. Imagine if a
Sam,
light emitting.
Didn't somebody see one of those that remember you tell that story about the guy who saw like a hologram thing in the forest? He was
Yeah. This guy did acid had a TV, had a show, and he was telling me he had a podcast, and he interviewed somebody who said that him and his wife were driving and they had to take a piss. So he got out and he walked down the trail to take a piss, and he looked up and he saw a giant green screen with some kind of some creature trying to crawl up it. And then the creature noticed him and kind of camouflaged itself. And he goes, "What the fuck?" And he looked at his dog, and his dog had already ran back. And so, yeah, I mean, this gets in this, it's like I say this on a smaller level, that everything is an intelligence agency manipulation. But you're saying it's like even deeper than that.
Ultimately, fast forward, I think that it's not evil at play. I think all of this fakery is actually designed for us to see it. It's designed, it's so absurd even looking back at the 1969 moon landing, we couldn't see it then. Our parents couldn't see it then, but that looks fake as shit. It looks so unreal. But I think, again, this kind of goes back to the spell I was talking about earlier. I think when you're under the spell, you truly cannot see these absurdities and these illogical, these fallacies that are just everywhere with these storylines and stuff. And we haven't even gotten into the sandy hooks of it all. But maybe for another time.
Dangerous. Well, let's
Gotta
get
dip my
into
toe.
that.
I can't end a show without dipping my toe into the most.
We got a little bit of time. We need to go.
Okay,
I want to go a little longer with you. So, so I've always said this, that like these guys. See, there's times where I can meet you. There's times where I can meet you. The reason, and I don't want to go too much back into it, but the reason I think war can be real is that it jacks loose and anxiety and causes chaos, which seems to be like what whoever's running whatever feeds off of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like that.
Absolutely. The real consequences. False events can absolutely render real consequences.
Right. So that's why I get into that. That it fits in. Like, it's not about the oil or the money, because they print fake money, and oil is a naturally replenishing.
It's never going to run out.
It's never going to run out. And when you know that the United States pumps more oil than Saudi Arabia, and they don't use it, is because this elaborate system of emotional terrorism is built in and using Saudi Arabia's oil, and because it's near Mesopotamia. The killing of our reality is what it's all about. The fucking with our reality, and the fucking of dying. Like, when you find out, like, let's say Black Lives Matter, and then 2 years later, it's like all your cultural heroes are gay, that does emotional trauma to everybody. It's emotional trauma. Can you not wreck that thing, please? It's like, the guy worked really hard on it, you're denting it. That's emotional trauma for me right now. But
So by you saying that war isn't real, do you mean maybe that the numbers that they're saying, the people that died, are just?
I think the numbers are fabricated.
Yeah,
I think there's definitely fallout. There's definitely real consequences, real trauma inflicted on people, and that has its own cascade effect. But yeah, I think the reasons for war are always completely false.
Yeah.
I don't think countries are truly fighting each other. You know, I don't think that the rationales for these, you know, these philosophical and religious differences. I mean, even religions are designed to get us to this point where we would think that this is something that is possible to go against our fellow man. Again, just these false dividing lines, these loyalties to a state and territory and place that is completely fictional. These territories, I mean, you know, these lines are always adjusting and moving, and what is one country at one time, you know, 10 years later is a completely different territory, completely different name. Like even the Ukraine. Ukraine is, again, a relatively new country. It's I mean, the territory has existed and it's kind of ebbed and flowed on but like what we know as modern Ukraine is new. There was like a crop up in like the 40s, North Korea 1947, Israel 1947. I think the Ukraine around that time, but all these interesting territories seem to be created around the same time, and it's, you know, it's been we've seen some fallout from all of those territories. North Korea with, you know, little rocket man with his finger on, and everyone's so scared that he's going to press the nuke button. I also don't believe in nuclear energy as scary weaponry. I don't. I do not believe that countries have nuclear weaponry and they are at any moment poised to annihilate everything. I mean, even Chernobyl, plants, wildlife, thriving. People never left, thriving. I don't believe
I agree with you
radiation.
on all that. I agree with you on all that. I agree with you on all that. I want to get into things that I listen, I love you because you come on and you say stuff for like, oh, okay, okay. But I love it. I love it. I do agree with you on scripted reality. All of these cultural icons, whether positive or negative, I believe they're all controlled opposition. I believe all of your billionaires, including Mayor Rothschild, who they want you to believe was like 12 running fucking investment firms. It's all Paul Bunyan bullshit. Then you get into Bill Gates, total bullshit story. You get into Elon Musk, total bullshit story. Everybody. You get into Jeff Bezos, total bullshit story. It's all LARPs, all live action role playing. That's all it is.
Can I add one to the list? Alex Jones. Everything he does is planned out. He got his wrist slapped in a big way for Sandy Hook, seemingly owing $1 trillion or 2.2 trillion, not even billion, but trillion after all of the lawsuits were tallied. I think that he landed exactly where he was supposed to land and exactly where he was designed to land, because what all of that did with Alex Jones and Sandy Hook, it just further locked the door. It made it appear as if you went knocking on that locked door, or you tried, God save you, to jiggle the lock, that you too would be stricken with $1 trillion mess on your hands. I think it's all for show. I think it's all for show to keep us from asking questions, from looking into these situations.
You threw Alex Jones in there. Would you say maybe Joe Rogan could be in part of that as well, or you think he's a little bit more on his own lane?
Are you retarded?
Well, I had to ask. I mean, she said she threw everyone else in there. Alex Jones, we're not going to...
You know what? I guess I'm just going to have to sit across from from Joe Rogan and see for myself.
You see? I mean, I had to ask. I don't think she was. If not, she would have said
You're
it.
just sometimes you go fully retarded, dude. It's just unbelievable. Anything is possible.
I like it. No.
Anything
all
is
questions good.
possible. Let's get into locked door theory. And I find this very interesting.
Yeah, this connects with what we were kind of talking about with Alex Jones. You know, there's certain topics, the Holocaust being one of them, which I see the hollow in that more than anything on the Holocaust. But, you know, that's an untouchable. That's a locked door. You're not allowed to talk about it. If you do, you get in big trouble and you get shamed. And I have a lot of thoughts about the Holocaust. And I have a new way of seeing the Holocaust. We're not going to get into it on this show, but I have talked about it on Realize Radio. It's something we kick it around quite a bit. Also, Nazi
if you go back,
is not see, not see, Nazi.
Okay, I'm in. I go back to it. Hitler's a completely controlled opposition.
He's a character.
This whole movement now to make it seem like Hitler was a good guy. Please explain to me why, and I ask all these guys who keep pushing back on it, why didn't he go into Switzerland and take out the Bank of International Settlements, what that was solely constructed to collect Germany's World War I reparations? If he was anti-centralized bank, why didn't he go into there? Why did he destroy England's bank, England's military in, what was it, Dunkirk or whatever that city is? Dunkirk. Why did he go in there? Why? It was why did he die peacefully in Argentina? Why are there Nazi honors on every show around the 80s and nobody talked about Argentina? I mean, it's just a fact, guys. We just talked about Giselle, what's her name? Bunchins. You know, her last name couldn't get more Nazi. Why were they all there? Why were there only 15 Nazis tried on trial in Nuremberg? Or what's it called?
15.
Yeah.
They had a lot of trials. They went on for years.
No, there was only 15.
You're thinking about the big trial. But
the big trial. But no, they've had other trials. But the big trial, the one that everyone talks about, it was 15 guys. And over time, they went after this guy. It's all theater, dude. It's all fucking theater.
Yeah. So that's, the Nazi party, that was a very short reign. It's a very short amount of time. Like, people think that it was this huge, long reign and they took over power and it was just this, but it was only like a couple of years, all very strategically outlined and everything. Just, I believe Hitler to be a character. I think he's a villain. He's an evil villain in this theater production called reality. And I don't buy it. I think that it's, Anne Frank, that name, Frank means true and direct speech, and Anne means anti or not. So her name signifies untruth. There's something there. And the whole thing about, her writing in that ballpoint pen, the diary of Anne Frank was famously written in this ballpoint pen that didn't exist until after anyway, blah, 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 blah. I think that there's a lot of stories. I think that stories cement our ideas of this world, and the stories get passed on. And, the stories shape our understanding of everything. And I think a lot of these things are bedtime stories, essentially, to keep us in a state of mental slumber. And, so Nazi Germany, Holocaust, all of that is absolutely a locked door. You're really not supposed to talk about it. Sandy Hook, another absolutely locked door. Alex Jones proved this, quote unquote, that if you do dare to speak about your thoughts on what may or may not have happened on, that Sandy Isle off New Jersey, it's completely unacceptable, completely unacceptable, socially, morally, whatever have you. You're just not allowed to talk about it. Uvalde, the shooting there, that's another kind of locked door. I believe that, a locked door, it appears just the appearance of a locked door, it makes you think that there is something of value behind, something of substance, something important, something to be protected. When in fact, the very same guarded locked door could be hiding a nothingness behind it. You know, all of these, don't talk about this, don't you dare talk about that. I think that that is perhaps a device to keep us from realizing there's nothing behind that door. It's empty. There's no secret. There's no greater knowledge to be gained or more to be learned. What truly needs to happen is a great unlearning of all of these stories. And what's another locked door? I think, this is random, but VAERS, the VAERS court, the vaccine injury court, it's all done secretly. VAERS is all self-reported,
Okay,
which means that it can be manipulated. So anybody can, all that data can easily be manipulated if it's self-reporting. And then the courts are very private. There's no public record of VAERS courts. And I think that is also clever to keep anyone from understanding what may or may not actually be happening. I have my own theory on vaccines as a whole. I think it's medical theatrics, and always has been. I don't think we've ever needed vaccines. I don't think that they're the evil inductors that they've been outlined as through the conspiracy theory. I don't think that they're the medical savior as they've been outlined by the medical community. I think they're null. I think they're completely unneeded, unnecessary, and null. I think it's all saline. I think it's a saline shot for all vaccines, all time. Why? Because I also think that the threat has always been null. I don't believe in viruses. The first vaccine was for polio. I simply do not believe that there was a polio virus. I think that there's a collection of symptoms that appearing as certain thing. They gave it a name, called it a virus, called it polio. End of the day. Same thing with cold and flu or corona or whatever. I think that I don't think that there was a deadly global threat with the coronavirus. I think it was just a rebranded flu. And the fact that the flu flew away the year of corona in 2020, there was no instances of flu. What does that mean? What does that tell
I
you?
agree with all this. There's so much that I agree with. Okay. There's so much I agree with, man. It's again, all this about this loose jacking. That's what it's all about. And like when you get into the Holocaust and the discussion of the Holocaust is going to happen, not just on conspiracy podcasts, but on if not on the internet, but behind closed doors. And people are going to realize that everything was a just step-by-step process to control this land bridge that Khazarians have always tried to control. That's my humble opinion. And there's a lot of power in that. And there's a lot of loose jacking going on in that. And that's my humble opinion, is that all of it is. Like, I believe there was a great disservice done to humanity. But again, that gets into the loose jacking of it and the energy of it. And so that's the same thing. Like, why are they so protective of certain things? Why certain things and not other things? Why can we talk about Parkland but not talk about Sandy Hook? Why is that? Right. What is that? That gets into it because that is the first domino.
Yeah. And I think the ones that are held most tightly, the ones that are most restricted, have the most power of unraveling the rest, And so that's why.
Yes. Once you start, and that becomes why these things are so, 9/11 seems to be lost in terms of being protected. Everyone just talks about it. And now it's like once we start getting into how much deeper it goes, and now JFK is being discussed, and it's getting discussed that, it wasn't just this guy, it wasn't just the mob and one guy, but it was actually the Federal Reserve, Israel, the mob, the Jewish mob, and all these other people that,
what if no one died that day? What if no one was shot?
We've had that discussion on the show as well.
Who shot JFK? Yeah. You know, it seemed to me like an animatronic pumpkin exploded in that.
A squib?
car,
Are you one of the
you know.
squib people? Are you a squib? Squib?
You know, the Zapruder film, I think every single frame of that thing is designed to make us question and re-question and re-question. I mean, at a certain point, it really looked to me like Jackie shot him. Like she put like a gun underneath his chin and shot it, like because his head just went back and exploded after she kind of put her arms around him. There was a period of time where I believed that because that's how it appeared. But I think that the film is, again, this really clever device to introduce non-reality into our purview, and we kind of glean from it whatever we kind of see what we want to see. And you know, I mean, this goes back to the federal government being completely null, but I personally don't believe that anyone was shot that day in Dealey Plaza. I'm a Dallas person. I'm from Dallas. I stand in that spot from time to time. I go down Elm Street, you know, on the kill shot often. So it's a work commute, you know, route for me. And there's something about it being called Elm Street, that, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street. It certainly was. But I think that, and something interesting, just random, but the way that the roads come together there in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, there's 3 roads that come together. There's Elm Street, which kind of comes on the left side. There's a center street, and then Commerce Street goes up on the other side, and it forms a trident shape, a very specific trident shape, if you looked at it on a map. And that exact same shape that the roads make in Dallas, where JFK was shot, is featured on the facade of the Twin Towers, was featured on the facade of the Twin Towers at the base. Before it goes up into the grand skyscraper of it all, on the second story of the base, I believe, the steel design work forms a trident, many tridents all around the facade, and that it's not just any trident shape, it's actually the exact same shape of the JFK assassination route, which I find to be pretty interesting. Also, something.
Where is that? At the 9/11?
Yeah, the building. If you just look up at the facade of the Twin Towers, you'll see this intricate trident shape. Okay, so there's the
Yeah,
so you can see those 3 rows.
Yeah.
See that shape right there. Now just Google like Twin Towers or something. Twin Towers facade.
Facade. Spell that for Xavier.
FACADE. There. See those tridents? Mm-hmm. That's the same. That's the route. That's the route.
Damn.
Look up Sandy Hook Military Base. You might have to look at a map. Maybe go to maps. Okay, now scroll kind of up. It's on the other side of the Sandy Hook. Or zoom out once. Okay, see that trident on the left? To the left. Yeah, right there. To the left, to the left. Move your map to the left.
This way?
No, that's the right, buddy. To the left. There, right there.
No. Keep going. See that little green on the side behind? Zoom out. Okay, there it is. See that trident there on the Sandy Hook Bay?
Whoa. That's crazy.
Isn't that
and
crazy?
where is that? Sandy Hook Bay? Damn. What?
There's that trident again. And just I didn't actually know this because
where was that?
I'm not very versed on like the geography of New York and New Jersey, but Sandy Hook itself is like an island. It's not it's out there on its own. Sandy Hook, New Jersey. You can look at the map, but it's kind of this peninsula all by itself. And I think that reminds me of a closed theater set. It could very easily, it's just kind of off on its own. Who knows what's really going on over there? Very, very distant, very, very closed off.
That's fascinating because that would support your idea that there are these war theaters, also places where they transport people. They take them and they take all the troops in these planes to abroad, Who knows where they land? Really.
Yeah.
It is crazy. It's like, ooh.
I love that feeling. I love that. It's a little danger.
It's very dangerous. Everything is
a little dangerous. Yeah,
dangerous.
I think that there's something magical in that, and I think that when we feel those kind of tingles of discovery, there's something very powerful happening. And I kind of think we haven't been taught how to see. I think our vision is ultimately fine, but it's our comprehension of what we're seeing that needs a bit of retooling.
We can
Not
only
much retooling,
see
but a bit of
what
retooling.
we're looking for. And if we aren't, it's like my theory on, I'm sure you don't believe in any of this, but Bigfoot, right? Like if you don't believe in Bigfoot, then you'll never see. I don't know what happened there. There we go. You'll never see Bigfoot. You have to see it. And I also believe when we live in this like very, once you're in the big city, all this electromagnetic energy is also like shish kebabbing our brains and shish kebabbing.
What the fuck are we doing here? We got to get the fuck out of here.
Dude, pick a place and let's figure it out.
Johnny, pick it.
I'm so ready to go. We'll be in North Carolina, dude.
Oh yeah, you'll be in North Carolina. But we could just move La Cañada or something. I mean, there's country not far from here.
I'm not against it, dude. I want to get the F out of here, dude. I'm trying. I just have 2 anchors here that I got to like worry about. But once I figure that out, bang, bang, pow, then we're out. But I am with you on this, man. I'm with you on a lot of it, not all of it, but
I don't expect anybody to be with me on all of it. I'm so far out there. I'm kind of one of one in some of the ways that I think, and that's fine.
I'm with you on that. I respect that. So so I do believe that a lot of these things, when you get so deep into it, once you start to like, even for a second, start to entertain what the human vibration is saying, you start to realize, like, you start to watch for it. And basically what you're saying is a much deeper version of Noam Chomsky's manufacturing consent. So, for me, what you're saying is a spiritual thing that goes much deeper, that it is all manifestation.
Yeah.
Everything is manifestation. And that these events manifest to allow, and at the end I'll ask you who you think is doing this. Who do you think are these people? Who is doing this? Why are they doing it? Is there somebody doing it? I want to wait to the end on that, but it's like 9/11. Even if you go, okay, it's giant theater, which I think there is more to it than that, but that's just me, is a manifestation event. All of the numbers are associated with Aleister Crowley. To me, that says that there is evil. And if there is evil, there has to be light. There has to be, quote unquote, good. That's my opinion. And correct me if I'm wrong on all this. So it is a manifestation event to allow them to go in there to destroy Mesopotamia. And then you start to study like how many of those countries that were that didn't have centralized banks, which is like where we went into, how many of them were a part of Mesopotamia or a part of our very ancient history that they're trying to erase? Now I'll ask your question about Tartaria.
I was going to ask you, yeah.
Much better question than the Joe Rogan question, which was
I had to.
fully bottomed out retarded. Go on.
But I'm sure you've gone down it. Do you believe in any Tatara? You say you don't believe in dinosaurs. Have you gone down that rabbit hole?
So the mud floods, kind of like the 18, kind of around this very specific time.
Yes.
I think that there is validity to the idea that a complete renewal occurred at a certain point in history, and then not that far back. I kind of think that this is like a Westworld theme park, and we showed up as maybe first generation of humanity in like the 1800s, and we've been kind of cycling through a few generations ever since. And just like with technology, each with new generation of the iPhone, the models come with some software and hardware updates. I kind of think that that's actually truly what we do here. And Sam, you talked about your two anchors, humans, we 3D print other humans. And that's a weird way to say, gestation of a human being, but that's essentially what's happening. It's essentially what's happening. And I think that each version, each iteration gets upgrades. And I think that we're capable now of comprehending, of cognating. I think we have upgraded hardware and software, and we're maybe different than generations before us. I have an anecdote on that. We talked about the not being able to picture things in your mind, and I asked my mom and my grandmother about their capabilities of picturing an apple. Are you able to picture an apple? And my grandma could kind of conjure like a still image. She could kind of see, almost like looking at a photograph of an apple. She could just barely do that, but she could. Then my mom took it one step further, and she could kind of see like more of like an immersive, almost like the room. She could like visualize the room outside of like a still photograph, but more like imagine herself in it. And there's an apple on the table, and she's looking at the apple, but she couldn't like manipulate it. Or I asked her to change the color of the apple to something strange, like purple or zebra print, and she couldn't do that. She could only just imagine.
All right, Johnny, you try to do that.
I mean, I'm throwing it through a wall right now, like an orange apple through a wall in my brain.
That's what I can do. That's what I can do too. I can just get in there and fuck shit up. Whatever I want to do with that apple, it can be done.
I think I can think whatever I want to think.
Oh, interesting.
And I think that
Xavier, let's see if you can do it.
No. You guys said that in English?
Okay.
I can do it in Spanish.
Can you picture an apple?
Yeah, of course.
Can you picture what color is the apple?
Green.
The green. You're picturing a green apple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Purple.
Can you make that apple zebra colored?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you manipulate that apple? Can you see it from different angles? Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you stick it up your own ass?
Are you sure?
Am I not supposed to be able to?
No, that's good. I think
something.
I think that
He's
and
surprised.
our abilities actually also kind of mirror the technology available at the day. My grandmother's ability to conjure like a still photograph almost mirrors her fluency with technology and media, And then my mom, one step further, she could more see it as like a TV program, kind of like watch a scene, And then me, I'm over here in this VR world, being able to do whatever the hell I want with Apple, and I think that it's just, I don't think that my brain is, I don't think that I have a special gift that my mom and my grandmother didn't have. I just think that I happen to be in an iteration of humanity that has that capacity to do it.
You're just adding plugins. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Turn plugins are turning off, turning on. Data packages are getting downloaded. And,
Can I ask really quickly? I'm sorry. Do you think it's possible that it's related to aging? Is that a consideration?
Well, gosh, I wish I would have been able to ask them the question years ago. I don't have a baseline for that.
Okay. It's possible, though, right? I mean, it would make sense.
I don't have a baseline for
It would
that.
fit the age, that maybe as you experience cognitive decline, you lose the ability to do
you lose. But then that begs the question: what about young people that can't do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be the thing to do, right? Is to ask young people and see what they're.
But if every kid can do it, isn't that kind of like evolving with technology?
That's what she's saying.
Yeah, it would be. That's exactly what it would be. It's more than it's like
Which makes me think these Gen Zers, are probably way ahead of us, which it would explain why I find them so bizarre in many cases.
Well, Johnny, think about it.
I don't think they're getting dumber. I think they want you to think they're getting dumber because the old knowledge is like, oh, dude, back in the 1920s, they could name every president. Well, how many presidents were there, and what else was going the fuck on? What else was going on?
Well, can any kid today name the presidents up to 1920? Because I don't think they could.
No,
but I'm telling you, Johnny, the information that is important today is not how many presidents there are. There's a lot more important. There's
the OnlyFans
I'm not
charts.
saying that knowing all the presidents isn't important. I'm saying there's a lot of important information, and you're going to pick and choose.
Yeah, most of it, what they're choosing is Instagram and Twitter and TikTok.
No, but
I'm sorry, but dude, I am finding so much great information on Instagram. And yes, we all enjoy occasional brain rot. Yeah, I mean it's fun, and
Well, that algorithm is designed to suck you into it. Yeah.
But I mean, but your algorithm becomes what you want to watch. It won't give you
It pulls you a certain direction, though. You have to
right,
admit that.
but if you don't watch it, you'll see things disappear because they know you're not paying attention to it, which is what she was talking about. So I'm not telling you that people. I'm just telling you, dude. The people that were so smart before used to think drilling holes in heads released spirits. They would think drowning witches.
Not even that. You don't have to go back that far. They did it to Rosemary Kennedy or whatever. Yeah, I mean, they
right. I mean, before
made
the
her
internet,
retarded.
Y2K. I mean, we could go on forever. A collective retards, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that I think we have to understand. That it's a different skill set. That the modern man in which we all are begging for, that fucking modern man, okay?
We'll see.
Okay, we need this modern man, dude. Where is that guy? How's that guy functioning in America right now?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by the modern man?
Let's take your grandpa, right? How he used to talk, things he used to believe.
Oh, yeah.
How he used to interact with people. Like that
guy. He
guy.
had black friends that he called the N-word to their face.
Yeah,
all the time.
I mean, that skill set would have a lot harder time.
And just laugh. And they would laugh. Everybody would.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting back. I mean, that is a part of
Look at this coming up in here.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you're supposed to be able to say about your friends.
Yeah.
But now because there's social collateral in getting offended, we've gotten away from that, and we're slowly getting to that. We'll get back to that. And these whole thing like, dude, say it in front of black people. Why?
You're more optimistic about the kids.
The N-word is a locked door.
The N-word is a locked door.
Yeah,
Sam has the key. Sam has the master key. And he might give it out.
People
He's like the Kool-Aid man. He came through the wall, baby.
Just watching people getting angry is so hilarious. I know what Owen felt like. It makes me laugh.
No.
As they just try to put it together. I had these 3 fucking retarded Indians try to break down, and they called me a racist comic.
We gotta watch that.
We'll watch that at Broken Sim.
Okay.
But they call me a racist. Yeah, every clip they show, I didn't talk about anybody else. So it's just my data they reject because they're woke
We
idiots.
should try to contact them, actually, on Broken. I'm going to see if I can get in touch with them. I'd like to talk to them.
Have them come on?
Maybe so. Yeah, let's talk to them and see what their fucking problem is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always
would love
down.
to
They
do
won't
that.
come on.
Maybe they would. Maybe they
We're
would.
always, I mean, we love having these
I'm
talks.
going to write that down. Yeah.
We love having these talks, but it has to be somebody who's willing to have a conversation.
We'll see, yeah.
Not somebody who's going to scream at you.
I'm okay with
Right?
that, too.
But also, in Sam's defense, I also can't imagine being sent home with homework and having all the extra shit to do.
Like what?
Being on your phone. Like, there's just so much shit to capture. Like you said, even if I have to memorize this, I'm going to look at
We are
1,000.
getting more data than ever.
Yeah,
More data than ever, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, and whether it's good data or not, well, you can figure that out. I mean, the human vibration just said, I'm off of Twitter.
That's smart. It's hard to discern the signal from the noise now.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Even though I love dropping bombs on unsuspecting fools. I love it. All I have to do is take it off my fucking. All I have to do is take it off my
Social media.
Sam quit drugs.
Yeah.
Coffee sometimes.
Let's go to
porn.
what day on porn I am.
Yeah, Twitter
Let's
can't be
go.
that.
What day on porn am I? I am now.
Sam.
I'm trying my hardest. It's really
it's
hard.
good. And I
'cause
was on the
miss
road-
my friends.
yeah, and I was
but
on-
I'm on 12 days.
Wait
Yeah.
until the AI porn gets here. They'll get you back.
Then it's all done. I'm
Yeah.
sick of forking me.
I was
But
on the yeah.
I just don't think. I was having a conversation yesterday on a podcast. They couldn't understand it. They're like, why? And one was a porn star. I go, I just find it low vibrational.
Yeah, that's it. If it makes you feel a certain way, and
I mean,
it can't. There's a weirdness. I even know, there's a weirdness.
Oh,
Once
really?
you
Well,
close
we'd
that
love to know.
browser. Once you're done, you close that. You don't want to be looking at that anymore. You're like, what was I even?
she's just in the false
5
flag
seconds
porn.
ago, it was just what you wanted,
False
but
flag
then
porn.
you're like, close.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a time suck too. Time just, I mean, anything that like that
just
that
brings
is so
you-
seductive and time just flies by in an
And we're
instant,
not
you know?
meant to look at that. We're just
you're right.
not meant to. There was a time when that was presented to you that meant there was something special about to happen, and that's why
I miss that, dude,
your
when I was a kid,
body
yeah.
gets so excited about it. And then when you see it all the time, it's like an addiction.
Yeah, and a desensitization, like in the actual, kids right now, kids see porn so young, and then when they actually are in it for themselves with a romantic partner, they have no idea what to actually do because their idea of what sexuality and intimacy has been completely corrupted by, again, theater of this false construct of this idea of carnal delights, through, because that's, I don't know, I think it really screws with your head. And even the word masturbate, I think that it's telling, like we're baiting the master, to come, like low vibration energy, come on in, just like alcohol is called spirits, because I think ultimately when we imbibe, we make some space for the baddies to come in, for the low vibes.
Do you believe in the
vibe-
baddies? And we're not talking fat black
Well,
ass here.
I
We're
thought
talking
baddies, like
we're
ones I
talking
date.
bad energy. Do you believe in the bad?
Yeah.
By the way, who wants to know what porn human vibration watches? I mean, that's gonna be the
That's a
cliffhanger.
locked door. That's a locked door.
That's a locked door.
That's a
That
locked
is the
door.
best, dude. That is the best. So like the spirits. I know
I'm
there's a
off alcohol. I used to drink it casually.
Do you smoke
without.
pot?
I smoke pot from time to time because I'm cool.
I know.
But,
I get that.
even that, it all messes with. Like I don't know how to describe it other than like a connection to source. Like you just kind of feel connected. You get these ideas. It flows. The creativity, inspiration,
100%. Yeah.
all of that is diminished when it's cut immediately when I take alcohol. When I have any amount of alcohol in my body now, I feel completely cut off. My creativity is zero. My inspiration is absolutely zero. It takes days, a week to recover from even like one drink now. I truly see it as the poison that I didn't see it like that before because I wanted to casually drink and have fun. But now I see it differently. But I do think that there are choices. You talked about manufactured consent. I mean, it's once you kind of stop doing certain things, like once you kind of step back from drinking a little bit, you begin to see how ubiquitous it is in culture, how everything is trying to get you to drink. Every TV show, they're just casually drinking throughout it. Every commercial on screen, is people having the best time of their life because they're drinking. You kind of realize how insidious the marketing is, and it's not just in ads, it's in every type of programming imaginable because it just plants these little seeds in your brain. I was even rewatching Frasier, and it was when I had stopped drinking, I just didn't have any alcohol in the house, and I remember thinking like, ooh, I want a glass of wine so bad, but it was because that's all they do on the show is talk about wine. That's the only reason that I wanted a glass of wine was because I was taking in this media where that's just
what
a part
propaganda is, right?
Mad Men was the same way for so many people.
Yes, that whole
Yeah.
just drink 3 martinis on your lunch break and go fuck your secretary and then get back to it. Yeah, I mean, who knows if that's really how Madison
Oh,
Avenue
the good
worked back in
days.
I don't
60s.
think it was. I don't think anybody can live that way and work. That's
Right. I think it was a glamorization of a lifestyle that is nothing but detrimental, an
Which, in the end of that
aspirational
show-
picture of
Yeah.
a detrimental lifestyle.
You're right, and that by the end of that show, they did kind of. I mean, it didn't look like a
The
great
wheels
place to
fell
be.
off,
The wheels
right?
fell off.
The wheels fell off,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like Sopranos.
Ooh.
Sopranos as it built
Johnny,
momentum, it was cool.
I
And then
know,
by the end,
I know it's not your quote, but you said it is like there's no biological shortcuts,
free lunch. Yeah,
and you just keep
like that.
you keep putting that stuff inside you, and it's like, I'm sober again from everything. And I am so in tune with my body. It's unbelievable. I know I can go, okay, this is hurt because of this moment. That's how clear you get. And to get rid of pornography is just, you're enjoying an extroverted display of trauma.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And there's a reason why, and you can say whatever you want and do whatever like I had to talk with this girl she was on the show. She's 26, and she's like, I want to do porn forever. And I go, I just instantly go into dad mode. So I'm like editing what I want to say to her. I go, well, the average porn star lives to 36 because they blow their brains out.
Yeah, it's like
right?
being a wrestler, pro wrestler.
Right? It's just, and you're like, why? Why is this happen? Like, you can go, there's like YouTube channels which like do like, will break down like everybody in this genre. And one of the genre is the deaths of adult film stars. And they're all suicide because it is just dark energy. It just is. And when you start to understand it, like, what is push on feminists? You want a job, and presenting your portals are like this higher form of right. The vagina's a portal.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Right? Present your
and
portals.
the word matrix, it means womb. Womb and matrix are etymologically
Life comes
tied.
out of it,
It
Right?
really is a portal.
And it's just like, what we've done in life is we've changed the expectations of what people want. We have been sold on a Disney movie. Women have been sold on the Disney movie, the princess, the marriage, and men have been sold on the quick fix, hookup, pornography world. And neither of them are real. Neither of them are exciting. You don't realize in that porn world, they're constantly stopping, editing. Someone's got stretch. Someone's crying. Like, it's not real. And either is the Disney movie or the romantic comedy. None of that is real. What your grandmother or your grandfather put up with or did and they live together forever is completely different than what the expectations now are. And the expectations put you in a place where you're fucking lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's done on purpose.
You can't really connect. Yeah.
To disconnect you from happiness. Over expectations on both sides. And I am telling you, it's both sides. I'm not here to disrespect one side over the other. They're both 100% guilty of this. And I want to get into these last 2 points real quick. And that is life as a hyper lucid dream state. What are you thinking? Are you into simulation theory? And simulation theory does not, to me, disprove God. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean,
No,
it
absolutely
can't.
not. Who's the programmer?
Yeah,
if
it
there's
can't.
simulation.
Right.
That's my opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm definitely with you that simulation theory does not discount a grand creator or a grand architect or a lord of some sort. But I think simulation theory, again, the vocabulary, we're only really able to picture kind of what we've been shown with the Matrix. We've kind of got this limited view of how the simulation could work. Is it running off a vast computer system, running in the background somewhere? I've been more and more, the mechanics of this world, the mechanics of how this place works, I feel like we can experience this in a lucid dream. Have you ever had a dream where you kind of know that you're dreaming?
I've manipulated my dream, reversed it, and then made another decision.
They always end in sex when I wake up in a dream.
Well, that's the dream. But like what I do whenever I find out that I'm lucid, whenever I have that moment, it happens from time to time. It's not very often for me, but the few times that I have experienced the lucid dreaming, the first thing that I want to do is kind of check in with my senses. Like, I'll touch the wall and I'll be like, oh my God, this wall feels like wall. I'll tap whatever surface is in front of me and I will feel it hit against my hand, even though I know I'm dreaming. I know that I'm in a dream, but the physicality of the state is so precise and so real and so lifelike that when I do wake up and I'm out of the dream, I will touch the wall and I'll be like, oh my God, it still feels like wall. How do I know that this is the real world if I can experience this fully in a dream? And those experiences just kind of got my gears turning that perhaps what this experience is not a computer-based simulation that we can imagine of the Matrix, where we're kind of plugged in and then our avatars are in the Matrix and kind of in this simulated reality, and there's a non-simulated reality that we're existing in on the outside as well. Sometimes I wonder if this entire construct could operate more closely to maybe a collaborative dream state that we're all in together and we're experiencing it together. I think for me, the synchronicities, when, I'll learn of a topic or I'll be exploring a topic, and then it's just everywhere in my purview. Everywhere I go, I see that. And I'll even see it with people that follow me on Instagram, or even people in the Realize Radio audience. I'll share something on my stories, a very random sighting, or we'll talk about something, me and Rambo, we'll talk about something very random on an episode. And then it just begins to propagate. The one example is Pegasus. I'm obsessed with Pegasus. I've got my Pegasus necklace on. I live in Dallas. Dallas is the city of Pegasus. I grew up with Pegasus as a symbol in my family for my entire life. And it's just very meaningful to me. And I started sharing Pegasus stuff on Insta. It was immediate that people were sending me like you'll never guess. I just showed up at my Airbnb and I walked in and there's a huge Pegasus mural on the wall, or little anecdotes, or people would be just out and about and then there's just a Pegasus symbol that, they just take a picture and they send it to me. And, I'm not sure if it's just an awareness, if these Pegasuses were always there for people to see, they just weren't really registering them before. But what I do know is that sometimes I'll cast things out into the world, ideas, topics, symbols, words, new words. And I love word of the day. We have a Realize Radio Discord and I always do a word of the day, but it's incredible by how quickly it comes back. How quickly it is shown, reflected in the the waking life. And sometimes I think, or even like I'll be thinking something and I'll be also listening to a podcast or audiobook or something. And the words that I'm thinking then get echoed by the content that I'm taking in. It's completely out of context. I'm just listening to people chat on a podcast and then they say this very random word that I'm thinking at the moment in a completely different context. But those types of little syncs they're happening so much now that it makes me question what the construct of this place is. It really, truly feels like it's happening and occurring in real time. I used to say we render as we go, as we're creating this world in real time.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I think it's very much Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, and so maybe it's a mixture of like a dream state, but also like a gamification, like some sort of advanced video game.
I agree.
That we're experiencing.
I just want to get the last question to you, and here it is, and it's your last point: terror and trauma. You think it's actually helps us see? Is that what you're thinking?
If we explore these terror events and mass trauma events, and we can kind of go through the annals of history and clock the ones that still register. If you start to look at them through this lens, let's call it the human vibration lens, the everything is fake lens, whatever you want to call it. If you begin to look at things through that lens, you will begin to see them as absurd. They lose all power. The trauma and the tragedy that once was felt so acutely, 9/11, for example, we all remember where we were on 9/11, and many people carried deep, deep trauma from that experience, whether or not they were anywhere near New York City or knew anyone in New York City. There was still an imprint. But I think that once we are able to reevaluate, recognate, it becomes almost comical. I sound so callous saying that about a tragedy, but it's, there's a concept called theater of the absurd, and I think that that's essentially what what we're experiencing is absurdity. And I think it's ramping up the absurdity, the nonsensical nature, which actually is kind of like dreams. Dreams have these weird, illogical, nonsensical occurrences. And I think a lot of what we're experiencing with real life is equally nonsensical as a dream state. I think that it does allow you a great gift of freedom from the trauma, freedom from the terror. You're released those emotional captive states that we may have been in for decades. There's a release of that once you can see it through a new lens. Once you can see these traumatic events, these terror events through a new lens, and they just don't hit you. They don't hit you the same way. The old ones don't hit anymore, and the new ones don't hit anymore. And I think that there is a grand savings, essentially, an energetic savings. We're recapturing that precious resource, our energy, focus, energy, attention, by not always being impacted by the pings of the machine. Every time, the machine pings, oh, another tragedy, oh, another this, oh, another that. We have one of two options. We can either get completely sucked in and go give our whole selves into it, which we all know what that feeling is. You just glued to the TV, glued to the refresh on the website. We know what that, when we're desperate for the information. Or you can just ignore it completely. And in the ignoring, and I think that this is where ignorance is bliss comes in, because it's not ignorance in a sense that you are uneducated. It's a willful, chosen ignorance to not take in the information, the data, not absorb the impact of the trauma. Yes. I think that, and what is the net of that? Well, I still think we're figuring that out, because I don't think we've ever really had the opportunity to take back our energy before, to go, nope, this one's not for me. Nope, this school shooting, I'm out. I'm not even going to look into it. Oh, this major skirmish and these, warfaring countries. Oh, I'm just not even going to I'm not even going to read about it. I'm not even going to look. I'm just next. I don't care. Even with the rat beefs, more people are saying, I don't care. And I think that taking our power away from celebrity is also very, very important. I've lost many hours to celebrity gossip blogs and blah, blah, blah. It can be soul sucking. So what is the point of all of this? I think that ultimately, if this is a dream, and I credit Les Luthor for redirecting me on this thought, shout out to him again. I don't think that we're here to wake up. I think that we're here to become better dreamers. I think that we're here to realize that just like in a lucid dream, you are the one in control. And the time you're able to experience that control may be limited, but I think we need to get there. In this dream, I think we need to get there to realize we are making this all happen, and we have so much more control over our lives than we've been taught and told that we have. We're basically been told we're powerless. And I think that we influence this realm far more than it influences us. So again, we've got to come into, I don't even know what this looks like, but imagine if every man, woman, and child never took in another news story. That sounds, absolutely ridiculous. But imagine like everybody turned off their TV, everyone folded up their newspaper for the final time. What could our minds do? What could our bodies do? What could our collective energies create? What could I just don't think that we've ever been allowed to see it, to even think about it, to even imagine a different type of world.
I agree. Listen, I've said this before, man. We know their playbook, and that's exactly what you're talking about. This is why I dip my toe into it and see what's going on, and then I pull myself out, and that because I don't fall for their tricks. It started, with Hillary run. I mean, just in terms of the show, just started with Hillary being told that Hillary's beating Bernie Sanders. Total bullshit. Everything's demoralization campaign, and they're losing their power. And they may go big and try to do something, but I think they're at a point right now where they're fucked because the dum-dums still believe, but they may be the NPCs. But most people, whenever something tragic happens, it go, oh, that was the government. That was the fucking intelligence agencies doing the work of these fucking archons, trying to jack our loosh. And I think they're fucked. I don't think they can false flag their way out of this.
Yeah. You said something earlier. We're not buying it anymore. We're simply not buying it.
Yeah.
And you said paying attention.
Yeah.
The two go hand in hand. We're not buying this bullshit and we're not paying for it in our attention anymore. We're pulling out. We're pulling out of the system. And they don't call it currency because currency means money. They call it currency because currency means energy, an energetic current. And so I think that, again, it all goes back to energy. It all goes back to Jack and our loosh. It really does. And this is the time. This is the time to say, I'm out, tap out. Like I'm done with the nonsense. I'm done with the noise.
Her saying that makes me think, and that's why Netflix gave us that Tom Brady bone. Here, pay attention again.
Yeah, 100%
pay
to bring
attention.
us back
we said,
in.
Look, we
We're
said the F
back.
word.
That's all you hear.
Yeah.
We're back.
We said the F word. Come back.
We're back. We're back. And now we're not. We never left, dude. We're just not playing your game anymore. We're not going to play your game anymore. She's a human vibration. She came. She saw. She crushed it. One more time. Tell them where they can find you.
Sam, thank you. This was. Just have to say thank you one more time. I'm so happy to be back 4 years later.
We can't go 4 years. We can't go 4 years.
Amazing. On Twitter, still from time to time, all my best original stuff is on Twitter. That's not going anywhere, but it's at Human Vibration on Twitter. Insta is at Human Vibration _Insta. Real Eyes Radio. This is my child. I don't have progeny of my own, but this is where I pour. This is my baby. And shout out to Rambo. He is Seek the Truth 101 on Twitter, and he has been my co-host. We've been doing Real Eyes Radio since 2001. We've got 2 free seasons on all major platforms. Just look for Real Eyes Radio, and we've got tons of recordings that are out for free. We're going to do a season 3. We're actually going to launch season 3 of Real Eyes Radio, a free season out for everybody. We're going to launch that, hoping to launch it in May. And behind the scenes, behind all the free stuff, we've continuing to build our Patreon community, Real Eyes Radio. We've got 150 regular episodes in the Patreon, plus countless bonus episodes, tons of amazing presentations from just God, incredible thinkers. We've got a very robust Discord community within the Real Eyes Radio Patreon. That is where I pour the majority of my energy. And none of that existed before. Yeah, none of that existed last time we chatted, Sam, and it does now. A whole universe has been created from that first experience with you. So
Let's
really,
go. I love it. You're great. Human vibration. You always say something that is amazing and something that makes me uncomfortable as fuck. And we'll let the people decide. And again, just enjoy the journey. Have a good time. We appreciate you. And let's break it down. All right, let's get into it. What do you guys think?
Heavy shit right there.
Chaos.
Don't you wish you were a little bit like her?
I mean, I'm a lot like her. I just feel like there's more trauma that is inflicted than she does. You know? Like people, I think people get lost in war. I think we lose. I think damage is done. I think we live in a haunted house.
There are just too many people who have been to war.
Yeah, I can't get that I'm not into, to the point where I hate editing out shit, even though I want to edit out XG's retarded question. I mean, did you go, sequential sense humanos, sense blah,
Wait, do you really want me to edit it out because you're talking about it right now?
No, I'm not going to edit it out, but it was retarded.
Well, because she was saying that Alex Jones was crazy, and I met Alex Jones, so I was like, you know how crazy. I mean, it was just.
I know, but you know, I'm pretty sensitive about that. God, you're such a retard.
It was a retard question.
But it was a retard question. But people are going to be like, did you see how uncomfortable Sam got when XG did that? Oh, God, XG Sam's handler. And, you know, it's like Johnny's off the hook now. Outside that, loved it. I felt it was great. I do think war happens, and I do think that there is some uncomfortable things.
Oh, by the way, there were the subsequent Nuremberg trials where almost 200 Nazis were tried.
Even if it's 200.
That's
it's
still not a lot, but I knew there were like 3 years of trials.
Thank you, Johnny.
That you didn't know about.
You know what else they say? That there's 1,000 camps. That's crazy, number 2.
Okay. Anyways, the point is, it was a great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Concentration camp? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so guys, go to SamTripoli.com.
Too late to get into that.
Tonight is the Comedy Chaos. Hopefully this comes out on Tuesday. Comedy Chaos. It will be available. Go check it out on the 14th, Tuesday the 14th. And then La Jolla at the end of the month with my good friend Brian Moses. Probably hates me because of all my well-crafted, multi-layered nigga jokes, and probably doesn't like that I call myself nigga.
You're saying it all the time now. I think you got to save it for the,
Okay, then you want to edit that out, Johnny?
No, I'm just saying you got to save it for ultimate impact.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is at the end of a 2-hour show. Who's
like
listening?
Once a.
Okay, and I know if you are listening, we love you. Premium content is available on SamTripoli.com. All of my premium content, only $8 a month. You get multiple episodes. I'm going to do a recording tonight. Going to record some shit. Then I'm going to get, if you like the $15 for all of the content, 400 creators on Rockfin, then click it. Any of those. Help support Sam Tripoli. Help support me. Zero, bringing that back, and going to get into, and Conspiracy Social Club. Also having Cash Daddies is a great way to make some money if you're trying to learn how to do the stocks and crypto. We get into that all the time. T-shirts, don't need to click it. T-shirts, cameos, great way to support the show. Buy gold and silver, everybody. Wise Wolf, go to samtripoli.gold. Use the promo code gold go to samtripoli.gold. Use the promo code tinfoil and get on the Wolf Pack. I do it every month. I hope you guys will too. Rife Technologies, get into that. AquaCure hydrogen brown gas, get into that. And then our good friends at Harley Ray, use them as well. Swarm 15 for your candles, your crystals, all your needs. Energy, my supplements, I use them all the time at Chemical Free Body, promo code tinfoil. And then finally, Joel Staley, who I love, who helps me with my lifting. I'm currently about to end. Oh, my fast is over. I can eat right now. Woo! My fast is over. I can fumage. And then everything else, all the audio, all the video, everything is on samtripoli.com. Get into the premium content, only $8. Anything else?
Hit that like button, subscribe, and leave us a review. I was checking the other day on
5-star
Apple.
reviews.
Yeah, 5-star review, please.
Get into it.
Follow me on Twitter, please. At Johnny Water.
Go get it.
Okay, guys. Enjoy these
highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Did you see this story this week about RFK Jr. saying that a worm, quote, got into his brain and ate a portion of it?
Bro, this is crazy.
It's one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard. He should never have told anybody.
Why would he say that?
I mean, never have told
it's
anybody
almost to his fault
that he's honest.
Yeah. And what he should have followed it with is that the only way he died because it OD'd on heroin. That's how he should have followed it.
Yeah. He was a hardcore user.
He was banging, bro. Just banging.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. experienced a series of health issues in recent years. And this is the only one I care about. The rest of the stuff they list, I couldn't care less about, including an abnormality that he says was caused by a worm that entered his brain and then died, according to the New York Times. In 2010, Kennedy, now 70, which, boy, is he in so much better shape than the other guys running for president. They said in 2010, he experienced severe memory loss, mental fog, and we learned this from a deposition 2 years later. According to the Times, he consulted top neurologists familiar with the medical history of his uncle, who had that brain tumor.
Yeah.
A New York doctor, after reviewing a brain scan, told him it was caused by a worm that got into his brain and ate a portion of it and then died.
Oof.
It had been like affecting his earning power negatively, is what he was saying, I guess, in this, because he was going through a divorce, and it was really, I'm sure she was. What if this is just something he made up to not have to pay all of his money to his ex in a divorce. That would be kind of brilliant. Around the same time, he also said he suffered from mercury poisoning, which was also causing neurological issues. Kind of interesting. But yeah, brain worm, bro. I just don't know why he would tell anybody that.
I don't know why he would either. He's probably like, I just need to get ahead of this.
Keep it quiet. Oh, you think it's going to come out anyway?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
so.
that's what they're doing, dude.
Oh, I have a quick atrocity for you.
Oh, do ya?
Yeah.
I mean, guys have been complaining we don't get any atrocities anymore.
Well, I think the Google Voice killed our phone number. We got to get a new phone number up, and I'll have that for next week. I was using a product that the manufacturer says is safe to use on your genitals
balls?
to trim yourself.
Oh.
And I took a chunk out of the
God.
base of my cock.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Like were you jamming it?
No, not at all.
Well, they're not sponsored
I was being very delicate.
Johnny,
with
go
it.
hard in the paint.
I was being very careful. You know, I was stretching the skin as you're meant to do, and just going down there with the guard on it and everything. And bro, it cut me so bad. I mean, there was blood everywhere, and it's been more than a week now, and it's just getting healed. I mean, I really whacked it, man. Really hurt myself. No jerking.
Johnny,
like it's in that position. I can't even jerk it.
Did you put yourself on the DL? Did you tell your lady?
Yeah. It's the IL now, but yeah.
It's
the
IL?
I went on the IL. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The injured cock.
Now, with the dick, is it a set weeks like baseball? You know, where you're out 4 weeks.
I went on the 10-day. Yeah.
10-day. You went on the 10-day.
Yeah.
Well, thoughts and prayers, dude.
The 10-day. It's actually
thoughts
it's the
and
dick
prayers.
list. It's the DL. I went on the 10-day DL.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. So that was a little tragedy there. Atrocity, sorry. So this is a great story. There were these kids that were kicked out of an elite Catholic school for wearing blackface not too long ago.
I heard about this.
2 of them. It's an elite California Catholic school.
Yeah.
And they have been jointly awarded more than $1 million.
Man, why can't I get this ever, dude?
It turns out it was, and they had said this at the time, a green acne face mask, and they just all took a picture wearing it, and it got passed around the school, and they were, I mean, just crushed, like humiliated. People were running them out. You know, everybody at the school was like, "Fuck you, you're a piece of shit." And it turns out it was just an acne face mask after they destroyed these kids' social lives for this shit, man.
Yeah.
The then students at St. Francis High in Mountain View were just 14 when they took a photo. 14 when they took a photo.
This is the problem with social media.
How old was Trudeau when he did his blackface?
The greatest example of this is Justin Bieber, where he did all this crazy shit. And
but Trudeau was like 30 when
Miley
he did it.
Cyrus, you know, when they did all this crazy shit as kids with the cameras on them, we go, wow, you guys are idiots. And then now it's like, oh, they were just kids. And so now we got adults. No one goes, what are you doing in this picture? They're like, it's a face.
Oh, it's even better than that. Listen, they were wearing the treatments, the acne treatments, in solidarity for a friend who had really bad acne. So they were trying to like do the same thing as him to make him feel better. So it wasn't even
really.
They were just being nice. Yeah, dude. They said, let's see. They took a photo during a sleepover in 2017 of them wearing the treatment in solidarity with a friend suffering from severe acne. The treatment bought by one of the boys' mothers. So they didn't even pick it out. You know, so you can't say they were trying to do black. Their mother picked it out. Was light green when applied and turned dark gray once dry. Their innocent selfie, and this fucking New York Post article puts innocent in quotes here. Their innocent selfie then went viral 3 years later when it was found and widely shared during the height of the Black Lives Matter protests following the 2022 George Floyd. You know what happened. A Santa Clara County jury agreed last week that the school breached an oral contract and did not give them due process before expelling them in 2020. And I say credit to that jury. Well done.
Yeah, good for them. They should get more money too. Man, you're balling if you're like, what?
Oh,
how old are they now?
That was
16?
2017, so 7 years later. Yeah, they're like 21 now.
21. They just got 300 G's.
Nice. 333 each.
Bang, bro.
333.
Just take that, put into a house. You're already in head of everybody.
Everybody. Yeah, that's dude. Put it in the bank. Let it draw interest. So you mentioned this. You introduced me to this thing about pandas not being real. Well, there's this crazy story that people are infuriated at this Chinese zoo that got busted.
Only in China. There's like.
Let me tell the story. Let me tell them what happened. They took dogs, these big ass dogs, and painted them like pandas. The pictures are so funny. I mean, it's just people are furious about this.
So have you heard the theory that on why there's this Asian guy who put out something about pandas not being real, and it was just basically said if you look at the Chinese zodiac, they have every animal in there, but pandas.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.